The Easy Money Show with Cam Fats. It's powered by EpicConversions.com and the Insiders Club. Welcome to another episode. Let's talk about this rise of Ingo story, though. I'm going to read right from Charles's blog. Hope he doesn't mind. I want to give you guys a story. If you'd like to read it for yourselves, check out Charles Ingo. That's CharlesNgo.com. This is called The Rise of Ingo, Chapter 1, and I will put a link to this in the description. Chapter 1. Society focuses on the product, more on the product than the process. I think a lot of people have a misconception about what it takes to be a successful internet marketer. Gurus will tell you you can make $10,000 in your first month of learning, but only if you buy their $1,000 course. Established guys will post pictures of their vacation and toys on Facebook. Very rarely will you see people writing about the difficulties of the industry. It's not a sexy subject, and everyone wants to paint themselves as a prodigy. Everyone new to my industry wonders, what is it really like to go from a complete beginner to a super affiliate? I hate using this word, by the way. For every guy that hits $10,000 a day, there are thousands of other guys who barely achieve any success. What makes the difference? I don't know what the typical beginning is like for others. I can only share what I went through. I'll do my best to keep it as real, as my goal is to share my experience so you can learn from it rather than to stroke my own ego. What you'll discover is I'm not an internet marketing prodigy. 6 years ago, I was in the same position you're probably in now, reading affiliate marketing blogs, losing money on campaigns, and wondering if this industry is even legit. I don't really like to get very personal on my blog, so I'm hoping I can inspire some of you to take action. What's my passion? My story starts in 2007. I always had this feeling of frustration in college. I was a semester away from graduation from Georgia Tech, but at 22, I still had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. While others were applying for grad school on their first jobs, I was trying to figure out my path. Everyone seems to give the same advice: just follow your passion. I wasn't really passionate about anything. I mean, I liked playing StarCraft and going to the clubs on weekends, but I wasn't really looking to make a career out of those. I've always known I wanted to be a business owner of some sort. When I was a kid, I would use my Chinese New Year's money to buy a bulk candy at Sam's Club and resell them during classes. Around high school, I had a CD burner, Factor and Napster, and I was selling custom mixtapes. I also made a chunk of change flipping Stone of Jordans and rare items from Diablo 2. I didn't have very many people around me with an entrepreneurial spirit. The few that were around did some shady stuff, like trying to be pro poker players or selling weed. Or they were caught up in some multi-level marketing scheme: Amway, World Financial Group, Herbalife. I didn't mind getting a 9-to-5 job after graduation, but I couldn't imagine myself doing that for 40 plus years. What really ignited me was reading the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It introduced me to the concept of the rat race. 1, get good grades. 2, go to college. 3, get a job. 4, work your ass off for that promotion. 5, get that promotion, upgrade your lifestyle. 6, new house, new BMW, debt. 7, get another promotion. 8, better house, better car. 9, get old. 10, look in the mirror and wonder what happened. 11, die. Reading about the rat race scared me. I'm not a religious guy, so as far as I'm concerned, this life is it. I wanted to live a life that would allow me to die with zero regrets. I didn't want to spend my life taking orders from someone else or making my boss rich. Also, traveling is a huge part of my identity. So how could I see the world with 2 weeks of vacation a year? To keep my spirits up, I read books. I didn't have much money at the time, so my Saturdays were spent leeching off of Barnes & Nobles. I pretty much read whatever was on the top 10 list in the business section. Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The 4-Hour Work Week, The Millionaire Next Door, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I knew I wasn't smart and had a solid work ethic. I knew I was smart and had a solid work ethic, but I didn't have direction. The eBay days. My 22nd birthday was coming up, and I decided to get a present for myself. I settled on a digital camera since I'd never had one before. I thought I should be taking some pics to remember my college days. Unfortunately, the Canon I wanted was $300, which was twice my budget. My mom taught me to always try to find a sale or deal before buying something expensive. So I went to Fat Wallet and Slick Deals. They have forums where people are constantly posting insane deals, liquidation sales, price mistakes, coupons, etc. I was able to find the exact Canon I wanted on sale. It was originally $300, but someone outlined a method to buy it for $140. I can't remember the exact process, but it involved price matching a competitor and then applying a coupon. I went to Staples that afternoon and left with the camera that cost me $150. I was playing around with the camera, excited that I was able to beat the system, but then an idea struck me. How much could I resell this camera for? A quick search on eBay showed it was selling for $270. I listed it on eBay, jacked the shipping up to $20, and made a quick $150 profit for an hour's worth of work. Why settle for $150? I went to every Staples in Atlanta and maxed out my credit card. I ended up buying around 10 cameras with my $1,500 credit limit at the time and flipped them all on eBay. I was doing classic price arbitraging, buy low and sell high. At that time, I was working at a gas station on the weekends for $8.25 an hour. That week, for 3 hours of work, I made about $1,500 in profit. For 16 hours of work at a gas station, I made $128. The next week, I went to the gas station and quit my job. I found an opportunity and I had to go at it with the full force. Took a risk, didn't he? He took a risk. Chapter 2. Give us a chance to load. The next few months I spent improving my system on hot deal arbitrage. I remember attending lectures and sitting in the back with my laptop glued to Fat Wallet and Slick Deals. If someone posted a hot deal, I had to jump on it immediately, or else it would be sold out in minutes. One time I remember skipping an entire day of classes to take advantage of a Best Buy price mistake. I missed a class on entrepreneurship in order to do my own entrepreneurship. I think my professor would have liked that excuse. The best part of my system was I couldn't lose money. I could do rough calculations on my profit margins before I bought the item. 1, how much does this item cost me after taxes and shipping? 2, how much has it recently sold for on eBay or Craigslist? 3, how easy is it to sell this item and how fast can I sell it? 4, what will eBay and PayPal fees be? 5, can I overcharge on shipping and make a profit? It was a foolproof way to make money because I could always return the item if I couldn't sell it. The more I did this, the better I got at it. Some weeks I could make 1,000 or 2, but some weeks I would make 0. I was relying on stores having amazing deals, and some weeks there weren't any amazing deals. I don't think you could sustain a career doing this, but for me as a student, this was great. Over the next few months, I started learning some business principles on my own. 1, patience. I had a slow week and decided to buy some low ROI, that's return on investment, items. I figured 20% ROI was better than sitting around with the cash doing nothing. Wrong. A few days later, I found an amazing deal that had the potential of 150% ROI, but I had no money. My cash was all tied up in that 20% ROI deal. If I had been more patient and waited for better opportunity, I would have made a lot more money. From that point on, I made a rule to go for only 100% plus ROI items. 2, time. This business was taking up a lot of time. I had to constantly find deals, list the items on eBay, print labels, pack the items, ship them, etc. To list the items, I bought some software and made templates using Octiva. For the packing and shipping, I enlisted the help of my friends who would stop by every day to pack items and take them to the campus post office. I paid them $50 a week for not a lot of work. 3, research. I started going on eBay forums and finding out ways to save money and game the system. I found out I could save a lot of money by shipping with USPS flat rate boxes, plus they gave away boxes. My eBay account didn't have a lot of feedback scores, so I bought recipe ebooks and pretty much bought feedback for 1 penny each. I also researched the best times to list auctions and the best length of time to keep them going. Each day I was getting better and better at this game. 4, competitor research. I knew I wasn't the only person doing this hot deal arbitrage. There had to be other people making money from this, and I was sure there was a lot more experience than I was. Whenever I had a really good item for sale, I would see who else was selling the item. I'd visit their profile to see what else they were selling and found things I never thought of before. My specialty item were computers and computer monitors. Every few weeks, there'd be a killer deal on a decent computer and LCD monitor set for about $350, usually from Dell. I found that I could sell the items separately. The computer for $350 and the LCD monitor for around $250, making a profit of $250. What I liked about these deals was that I could sell them locally on Craigslist and save on shipping and PayPal fees. The best part was the turnaround time. I could list an item, sell it the same day. With eBay, I would have to do a 3-day listing, ship it to the buyer, and then transfer the money from my PayPal to my bank account. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Earlier, I mentioned that I did research to see what other guys were selling. One day, I checked out a competitor's profile and saw an interesting item they were selling. I did some research and saw I could buy the item for $50 and resell it for $300 on eBay. I found a contact on Alibaba from Guangzhou. What's cool was we Skyped and he gave me a discount on the order for being Cantonese. I sent out a $2,000 Western Union money transfer, which was a required minimum for the order. If he screwed me out of the deal, that $2,000 was gone. Those were nerve-wracking 2 weeks. The items came, and the next 2 months, I made $25,000 profit. I went from making $8.25 an hour to $12,000 a month within 3 months. I knew things were too good to be true, and my PayPal account got banned. Not going to get into why. To make things worse, they froze $10,000 I had in that account for the next 6 months. Even though I made a good profit for that time, I think I would have made more over the long run if I'd stuck to my original system. It felt nice to have money for once. I didn't have any more credit card debt. I could fill my gas tank to full each time, and I could take my girlfriend out to restaurants nicer than $5 pho joints. They say money can't buy happiness, but trust me, life's a lot better when you don't have to worry about your finances. The biggest takeaway from my eBay days was that I wanted to make my living on the internet somehow. I could set my own hours. I could work from anywhere, and I could rely on the internet because it was only going to get bigger. This was my calling in life. I had no idea what to do, but now I had a direction to go in. Discovering internet marketing. The first time I heard of internet marketing was through the 4-Hour Workweek. I read it and got inspired, but I still didn't know how to apply the concepts. I spent a few weeks going Google searches on how to make money online. The problem was I had no clue who was fake and who was real. And it seemed like everyone was trying to sell me something. Were people really falling for this shit? Make $10,000 a day by pushing a button? Somehow, my web surfing landed me on a Make Money Online blog where the guy broke down his earnings made just from blogging. John Chow, Income Report, June 2007. Are you kidding me? $12,000 a month just from blogging? From John Chow's blog, I went on to discover Shoe Money. His famous picture of an AdSense check for $130,000 blew me away and opened my eyes to the potential of internet marketing. I found these two guys to be pretty inspirational. John Chow is an older guy with a bad accent, and Shoe Money used to work in a customer service and was obese. These guys had their disadvantages when they started out, but were still able to overcome them and find success through internet marketing. That's what I realized. I had no excuse to not be successful. I now saw that the internet marketing doesn't discriminate when it comes to success. Maybe I don't have the right look to be a model, or I'm not tall enough to be a basketball player, or maybe I don't have the right connections to get into investment banking. But internet marketing doesn't care. It doesn't matter if you have a college degree, what race you are, or if you're living in a third world country. All that matters is whether you have the skills to do the work. So now that I discovered internet marketing, I spent the next 6 months trying to learn it. Chapter 3. Let's let this thing load here. Hope you guys are enjoying this story. I thought it was pretty interesting, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't read this whole story. I read the beginning of it, and I said, you know what, this story looks fantastic. I want to read it on my podcast. So that's what we're doing. Hopefully Charles Ingo doesn't give me a cease and desist. Hopefully he doesn't mind that I'm sharing his story on this podcast. I did let you guys know how to find the original story. I think it's a fantastic story. I think it's inspirational. Let's get into chapter 3. Okay. The next phase of my journey was what I call the black hole of internet marketing. For every 10,000 people who try to make money online, maybe 5 will actually end up earning a full-time living from it. Why? Information overload. Affiliate marketing, ebooks, blogging, YouTube, vlogger, SEO, e-commerce, consulting, develop a service, 4-hour work week, Muse, etc. The problem is some people can't focus and end up drowning in opportunities. Shit information. You don't have enough experience yet to separate the dirt from the diamonds. Most bloggers and the internet marketing just write fluff because they have no knowledge. They make their income by pretending to be experts so they can sell products and prostitute themselves for paid reviews. Forums are full of keyword warriors who don't make money. No action. Don't confuse motion with action. Motion is reading about shooting a basketball, and action is going on the basketball court and shooting the basketball. The problem is most guys will spend 90% of their time reading and only 10% doing. Fear and laziness hold them back. Since my first exposure to internet marketing was Shoe Money and John Chow, I thought that blogging was where the money was. I got an account at HostGator and set up my own WordPress site. I decided on 2 different niches. The first was a make money online blog from a newbie perspective. Yeah, not very creative. But I wanted the second topic to be in a field that wasn't competitive yet, but that would boom in popularity. Around that time, the new show called The Pickup Artist was airing on VH1. I thought interest in this niche would explode in the upcoming months. I didn't know much about the topic, but that didn't matter. I Googled PUA websites and rewrote articles. For about 2 months, I was blogging every day. I learned everything from scratch, setting up hosting, signing up for AdSense and affiliate programs, marketing the blog, etc. I plastered my blog with AdSense ads and felt a rush every time someone clicked and I earned 5 cents. To promote the website, I posted all day on forums and promote on social media such as Dig, Netscape, etc. The most amazing feeling I experienced was when I converted my first lead. I was promoting David D'Angelo's ebook and earned a $40 commission. A few weeks later, the check came in the mail. The moment I deposited that check, I realized this industry was real. After 2 months, I gave up on blogging. I realized the best blogs come from people who are already experts in the subject. I just told myself, I'll start charlesengo.com a few years later when I actually know what I'm talking about. Free versus paid traffic. I spent the majority of my time going to different forums and blogs, and it definitely looked like paid traffic was the place to be. To get sales, you need people to visit your website. There are primarily 2 methods to generate traffic: free, so that's search engine optimization, article marketing, etc., or paid, spending money on AdWords, Facebook ads, banners, etc. A large majority of people were doing search engine optimization at the time, but I didn't want my livelihood to be dependent on just Google. What if they had a big algorithm change and it messed up all my websites? Also, it just seemed like all the guys doing paid traffic made a lot more money. I shifted from blogging to paid search. Now, all my time was spent learning about Google AdWords, Yahoo search, and Facebook ads, which was just opening up soon, graduation, and the job search. I graduated from Georgia Tech in December of 2007. Unfortunately, I still wasn't making money from affiliate marketing, so this meant I had to find a job to fund my living expenses and pay for my business. PayPal locked my $10,000 for a few more months, and since the account was also banned, I couldn't flip items on eBay anymore. I started my job search on Monster and Career Builder. I had a degree in business and marketing, so I was just trying to find whatever job I could get. My main concern was about the hours because I wanted to work on affiliate marketing at night. I went for several interviews and got 3 job offers. One was in sales, one was at a junior analyst, and one was to work for an internet marketing agency in Atlanta. I ended up accepting the internet marketing job, even though it paid less than the others. With that job, I was helping with the AdWords account of a Fortune 500 company. The money is the motive? We've all been raised. Okay, sorry guys. Money was never my primary motivation. What motivated me was the thought that internet marketing was my chance at the life I wanted. Growing up, I never excelled at anything in life. I wasn't the best student, I didn't play sports, and I didn't have hobbies outside of video games. Deep down, I just needed to prove myself that I could be really good at something. How many people drift through life just existing? For the first time, I felt like I had a real goal and purpose. We all have dreams of what we want to do when we grow up, but we live in a system that's designed to beat you down. As a kid, you enter school, and for the next 15 years, you're being molded into a person who is supposed to listen and obey. The people at the top don't want a society of thinkers. They want worker bees who never question anything. Once you get that new house, new car, and credit card bills, you're a slave to the system. People sell out their potential and dreams just so they can keep up with the Joneses. We only have one shot at life, so why settle for being a hamster in a wheel? The journey to success is lonely. When I was staying at home on the weekends building my business, everyone was out clubbing and getting drunk. I preferred reading books about copywriting to playing video games or watching TV. What helped me through the daily grind was visualizing the future I wanted. Sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. If you tell others you want to do this internet marketing thing, some are going to discourage you and say it's unrealistic or a scam. Why? Because they've already given up on their dreams and they want more company. If you end up succeeding, it'll make them feel worse and less secure. Discouraging you is their way of protecting their own egos and a way of nipping your dreams in the bud. Chapter 4. 6 chapters in this, you guys. 6 chapters in this. And that's true. What he was saying about your friends discouraging you and all that stuff, I found that to be quite true. It's really weird. It's not at all what I expected, man. Not at all what I expected. But yeah, it's really true. Kind of took me by surprise, to be honest. February 2008, chapter 4. The next chapter of my life involved balancing the demands of my first real job and trying to learn affiliate marketing on the side. Here's what my schedule looked like for the following few months. Weekdays, 7 a.m., wake up to do morning routine, get stuck in traffic. 9 a.m., arrive at work. 5 p.m., go home. 6 p.m., actually get home, shower, eat dinner. 7 p.m., work on affiliate marketing. 2 a.m., sleep. Weekends, 7 a.m., wake up, do the morning routine. 8 a.m., work on affiliate marketing. 5 p.m., hang out with my girlfriend. 12 a.m., sleep. I was pretty much working 2 jobs. By day, I was in the corporate world helping manage PPC accounts, and at night, I was working on my side business. I actually loved my 9-to-5 job. They had amazing clients, and my coworkers and bosses were awesome. If I didn't succeed with affiliate marketing, I would have continued working in the agency world. How did a job at an agency help me? I became super proficient with Excel, pivot tables, easy. I saw how an agency deals with clients to keep them happy. Constant exposure to Google AdWords. By being an employee for half a year, I learned different management styles and what makes a good boss. Between the job and my affiliate marketing, I was thinking about internet marketing every hour of the day. I was learning fast as if I was Goku, Dragon Ball Z, training in the hyperbolic time chamber. What's your excuse? I notice whenever people try to break into the industry, they always have excuses ready. I don't have any money, my schedule's too busy, or I'm not really good at technical stuff. They make excuses before they even start. It's like they've already preparing themselves for failure. Most excuses are made for ego protection. People don't want to feel like they've failed because they didn't work hard enough or weren't smart enough. So blaming other things makes it easier. I've seen 16-year-old affiliates. I've seen 60-year-old affiliates. I've seen women affiliates. I've seen affiliates from really poor countries like India, and I know that most of the industry people don't have a college degree. Whatever excuses you have is not valid. No matter how bad your situation is, I guarantee you that many people have had it worse and still succeeded. You just have to play the cards you're dealt in life to the best of your ability and not waste energy wishing you had better cards. Even a 7-2 offsuit can beat pocket aces. I need more money. It's interesting to see that money and personal finance have become uncomfortable topics to think about. It's weird to ask someone how much money they're making. People keep getting hit with overdraft charges because they feel uncomfortable looking at their bank accounts. Running a business means you need to keep a really tight leash on your finances. I was bootstrapping the operation myself, and it cost money, servers, tools, and paying for the actual traffic. I simply needed more money, and there were only 2 ways to do it: increase my income and decrease my expenses. There wasn't much I could do to increase my income since I was making a salary, so I turned to freelancing to earn some extra cash. I didn't have any major talents like programming or graphic design, but I noticed people were buying 500-word articles for SEO content for $15 each. I spent a few hours each week researching and writing articles and was able to make an extra $500 a month doing it. To decrease my living expenses, I moved to my friend's house and paid only $350 a month for a room. I saved on my groceries by clipping coupons. I rarely went out to eat, mostly cooked at home. Between the articles, writing, and decreasing my living expenses, I was able to scrounge up around $900 a month I could dedicate to affiliate marketing. My mindset was that every dollar I saved was a few clicks I could put towards my campaign. Every campaign I could afford was me moving an inch closer to my goals. For the previous 5 years, I was driving a 1995 Acura Legend, which literally broke down on the highway at 200,000 miles. Fixing the car would cost me more than the car was worth. I really didn't have the money to spare, but I needed a new ride. What was weird was even though I wasn't making as much at my job, the car dealership approved me for a $40,000 car loan at a ridiculously high interest rate. The salesman was trying to sell me a dream. What he didn't realize was my dream wasn't a BMW 3 Series. My dream was a GTR or a Porsche 911. Having a high monthly payment and wasting thousands of dollars on paying interest on a car that I didn't really want was taking money away from my goal. I went to the local credit union and got a reasonable $10,000 loan with a 3.5% APR. I bought a used red Lexus IS 300. On the road to success, there will be a series of tests designed to kick you off your path. Being offered that new BMW was a test drive. It was a test. Having to choose to work at night instead of playing video games was a test. Dealing with negativity was a test. Anyone who was negative about my ambition was cut off from my life. Life throws these tests at you to see how bad you really want it. Success only rewards those who deserve it. Dealing with failure. 14 campaigns, all failures, minus $4,000. Most sane people would have quit a long time ago, and I wouldn't blame them. How did I stay motivated? I kept telling myself it only takes one campaign. Seriously, all I need to do is just stay persistent and keep learning. If I keep launching campaigns, one of them is bound for glory. Most people quit because they put too much pressure on themselves and have an unrealistic timeline. It's like the fat guy who works out for 2 weeks, then quits because he hasn't lost any weight. It's hard to see progress when you're in the trenches. You have to stick to your goals and have faith in the process. I never had any doubt in my mind that I would eventually make a full-time living from this industry. Why? I'm a huge fan of having smaller but realistic goals. I wasn't trying to be a millionaire. This was early 2008, and there weren't any ballers in the industry yet. After reading the 4-Hour Workweek, I just wanted to make around $40,000 a year and travel in Asia. My thinking was quite simple. The more you practice something, the better you get at it. Can't talk to women? Cold approach 500 women and you will improve. Suck at chess? Play 500 games. You will improve. Not a good writer? Spend 30 minutes writing every single day and you will improve. I concluded that affiliate marketing was a skill. The only way to improve it was through constant practice. I didn't mind losing money as long as I was learning from each mistake. The mistake that most people make is they believe there's a magic bullet they can find in a forum or a blog post. They read and read and read and never implement what they learn. The problem with reading and no action is you don't have the right perspective to understand the material. Everyone's impatient and wants instant results. These kind of people don't achieve their goals, but they make amazing customers. Why do people get stuck in the pattern of reading and never actually working? Pain avoidance. Let's say I want to become a better writer and I write 15 minutes a day. I'm not really losing anything other than the cost of time. Internet marketing comes with several pain points if you fail. You can lose money and people don't like the feeling of sucking at something. When I lost $300, I didn't think about what I could have bought with that money. I didn't think about new games or a new nice dinner. I reframed that loss as a gain. I just spent $300 on data, on a lesson that I can't learn anywhere else. People want to learn while avoiding pain. Reading books, ebooks, blog posts, and forums make them feel like they are learning about this stuff without actually going through the pain. The different campaigns I tried. Some niches I did. A ClickBank product for reversing someone's phone number. A ClickBank product for an online tattoo gallery website. Credit reports, home insurance, ringtones, and I was bidding on song titles. I heard payday loans were quite hot. I decided not to do it because they were just too dirty, even by my standards. I was only working on Google AdWords campaigns at the time. There were plenty of traffic sources to choose from, but I felt I had a natural advantage with this platform because of my 9-to-5 job. The problem with AdWords, though, is that it's one of the hardest traffic sources to understand and optimize. You have to deal with quality, score, keyword research, grouping the keyword, bid prices, etc. For a newbie, that's a lot of optimization. My campaigns were becoming a source of great frustration for me. Every week, I would research a campaign, set it up, launch it, and lose money. After a campaign started losing money, I didn't really know how to optimize it. Not only that, but I had no clue whether I should stop a bleeding campaign or try to make it work. My conclusion was to always stop the bleeding and switch to a new campaign. My affiliate managers were always telling me about a new hot offer, and I always thought, this is the one. As a newbie, you feel frequently confused because you don't have enough experience yet to separate the gems from the dirt. Big shout out to my original affiliate managers, Greenberg at Kopiec, Fraser at CXD Digital, Sessler at Azoogle, and Leanne at Neverblue. I didn't know anyone in the industry, and it was my affiliate managers that let me know this industry was real and there were people out there making this work. Even though I had a peasant affiliate status for months, they still found time to answer any questions I had. With each campaign, I thought I was getting closer and closer to profitability. Tracking 202 wasn't available yet, so I had to do some really filthy tracking using PHP and passing sub-IDs. I learned how to create landing pages from scratch. I started applying what I learned from copywriting into creating ads, and it was amazing to actually see results from the techniques. I didn't have a profitable campaign yet, but I knew if I kept going, I'd hit one sooner or later. All that mattered was that I kept faith and stayed on my path. The $100,000 blog post. There was a lot of shitty affiliate marketing blogs back then. 99% of the blogs today still are. But my favorite one was NickyCakes.com. Most of his posts were calling out people in the industry on their bullshit, but occasionally he dropped some gems if you were smart enough to see them. I was reading his blog and came across his blog post. Still can't make money with Facebook? Nick gave away a profitable gaming campaign on Facebook. My initial thoughts when I saw this post was that it was already too late to run this campaign. He has thousands of readers, and I was quite sure that a bunch of them already launched the campaign. How can I compete in a new niche on a new platform against guys who have had more money and experience than me? I made a big commitment then, and I told myself, I'm not quitting this campaign until I lose $1,000. I figured the problem was that every time my campaign lost money, I would switch to another offer rather than actually try to figure out how to improve it. Chapter 5. It's a long story, guys, but I think it's really good, and I think there's a really good message in it. I love how he starts way back at the beginning with eBay and goes into all this stuff. This is fantastic. March 2008. I'm going to analyze the campaign from my newbie perspective. My methods have obviously evolved since then. Some of these techniques aren't the best practices for 2013. I'm just trying to give you insight into how I approach the campaign as a newbie. Reading Nick's post, I came to a few conclusions about the campaign. I wanted to direct link this offer. I needed to brainstorm images. I used in-game screenshots to begin with. I pretty much used the headline examples Nicky Cakes gave, plus came up with my own stuff. Game of the year 2008, better than Half-Life 2, free FPS game, play games in your browser, etc. Remember that this was my very first time advertising on Facebook. All my previous campaigns were with Google AdWords. In order to optimize, I wanted to keep them as simple as possible. I thought of it as a science experiment, which has controlled variables, independent variables, and dependent variables. Test 1, what are the best age groups? Controlled variable. Elements that you keep the same. The offer images and ad text were kept identical. I just picked an image that did well. Used Game of the Year 2008 as the headline and featured one offer. Independent variable. Why am I changing or testing? What am I changing or testing? I'm testing the age groups. Dependent variable. The new value that changes. Basically, I'm looking at the click-through rates, CPCs, and the return on investment. First thing I did was split test the age groups. And then he gives a series of age groups, guys. I split the initial bids high. The results The results that were the 13 to 18, 19 to 21, and 22 to 25 demographic did the best. 19 to 21 group was the most profitable. Unfortunately, I lost money and was at minus 100% ROI. No big deal. Test 2. What's the best headline? I used the 19 to 21 age group since it did the best, and I just used an in-game screenshot. Remember, I'm only testing one thing at a time. For the headline, I decided to test Game of the Year 2008 versus Better Than Half-Life 2 versus You Suck at This Game. This was a big aha moment for me. Better Than Half-Life 2 doubled the CTR of the other two. And I was comparing this game to a more popular one, and it worked. It's like saying your new band is better than the Beatles. It's going to get people curious. I did another headline test where I used the top 5 most popular first-person shooting games at the time. There was one game that absolutely demolished the rest of them. I'm not going to mention which game that was since I don't want to get into trouble. Test 3. What's the best image? While going through test 2, I realized it was important to find the best angle, the best way to approach campaign on a creative level. Now that I knew the best angle headline, I needed to find the best image to go along with it. I used Google image search and pulled in-game screenshots from that ultra-popular FPS game I found in the headline test. I couldn't believe my eyes. The images gave me an absurd CTR. I can't remember what the CTR was, but I remember that my clicks were like 2 cents to 3 cents each, but my earnings per click were like 30 cents EPC. The first day the campaign popped, I spent maybe $350 and generated $1,000 in profit. It was insane. I would repeatedly refresh my stats, and the numbers kept going higher and higher. Pro tip, just because an ad has the highest CTR doesn't mean it's the best. You need to also check the conversion rate of the ad through a tracker. I've had some ads that got extremely high click-through rates, losing money because they didn't convert well. I didn't have a tracker back then, so I just went with CTR to measure the effectiveness of the ad. Expanding the campaign. Now that I've found the best angle and best images, it was time to scale. Originally, I tested only one demographic. So now I took the best headline image combination and expanded the campaign to the rest of the age brackets. I also expanded the campaign to other countries such as Canada and the United Kingdom. Expanding to those countries was easy profit because these countries weren't as competitive. Cash flow issues. A big problem was coming up. I was running out of money. I was on monthly checks from Neverblue and requested to be upgraded to weekly wire payments. The issue was the first wire would come in about 2 weeks, and I could only last another 2 days at the rate I was going. I needed a few $1,000s, and I needed it fast. I didn't even consider asking my parents because I wanted them to think of me as a man. If I achieved success, it would be 100% on my own. The only person I knew who could let me borrow that kind of money was my roommate at the time. I was living in his house. I had never borrowed money in my life and didn't want to do it now. Instead, I was going to make him a business proposition. I told him I have a business that's doing 500% ROI. I pulled up Facebook and Neverblue and showed him the numbers. My proposition was if he loaned me $5,000, I would give him $7,500 within a month. That's a 50% ROI for him. He gave me the cash with no questions and asked and said, he gave me the cash with no questions asked and said if I didn't pay him back, he would kill me in my sleep. Analyzing the campaign from my 2013 perspective. There were a few things that made this campaign successful for me. The biggest one was that I simplified the optimization process and made a very clear plan. This was the beginning of developing my system of optimizing campaigns. My Google campaigns were way too confusing. I had to optimize the landing page, the offer, the keywords, the bids, the quality score, the ads, etc. Which do I test first? Do I test them all at the same time or one by one? I didn't have the experience yet to handle this many variables. With the instant action campaign, many variables were eliminated. Offer, I didn't have to split test offers or offer pages. The offer was instant action and there was only one page, landing page. I direct linked, so I didn't need to have a landing page. No quality score to deal with. In AdWords, you have to group your keywords in a certain way, and you don't know the best way to do it because it's subjective. It was so much easier to understand when I grouped my campaigns by age brackets. I realized that you can't master every traffic source. Some people just understand the optimization process easier for one place over another. One of my friends is amazing with media buys, but he can't grasp mobile. I wasn't really good at AdWords despite my experience, but Facebook came as naturally to me as Koreans and StarCraft. The biggest difference maker in this campaign was the fact that Nikki said this campaign worked. I had affiliate managers telling me that this campaign was hot, that campaign was hot, etc. Having someone like Nikki saying the campaign works gave me the confidence to continue working at the campaign, even if it was losing money at first. Gaming on Facebook still makes money if you're a newbie. I highly encourage you to get into it. Here is what the campaign taught me to avoid. A, don't advertise to such a young demographic. My ads were directed towards people under 21. People under 21 don't have credit cards. The leads won't pan out, and you'll get kicked off the offer. B, don't use screenshots from other games. Even though the CTRs are nice, it lowers the quality of the lead, and you risk getting sued. Spending my first check. When I got to work at the end of my first month, I saw a direct deposit pay stub on my desk. I was paid $2,500 for my first month working there. I had made $2,500 profit the previous 2 days from affiliate marketing. 2 weeks later, the first Never Blue wire came in for $7,000. How'd I spend my first wire? You have to think that how'd I spend my first wire? You have to thank the people who got you to where you are. I wrote a check to my parents to help them out with the bills. And then last chapter, I mentioned that I needed to be frugal in order to cut costs to invest in my business. I didn't mind it at all because I knew where I was heading. I was quite fortunate to have a girlfriend at the time who never complained about how cheap I was. I drove her to Phipps Plaza and told her to pick out any handbag she wanted. Oh man, thank you for picking a Coach bag instead of that Chanel. A samurai needs the sharpest sword, and an internet marketer needs the fastest technology. I upgraded my $10 a month shared hosting from HostGator to a dedicated server from Liquid Blue. I'm still using them today. I was using a really slow 5-year-old computer at the time and upgraded to a new Mac. I wasn't thinking I made it yet. Anyone can have a lucky campaign, but I knew I needed to test whether I could be profitable in other traffic sources and verticals to see if I had the skill. Now that I had a test of success, I smelled blood and was hungry for more. I knew that my life would never be the same again. Last chapter, guys. We're getting into the last chapter on this thing. It's been pretty good, man. It's amazing. This guy goes from, doing retail arbitrage to making thousands and thousands of dollars of Facebook ads. It's a good story, man. Chapter 6, 2008, summer. Life was good. I had a steady income up from my job, and I was making 3 times more money from my affiliate campaigns. I was starting to get burnt out from a lack of sleep and the amount of work I was doing. I took a look at my daily schedule and decided I could save 2 hours a day if I got my own apartment next to work. I didn't use that extra 2 hours to work more. I used it to make sure that I got enough sleep each day. The instant action was running strong for a few months, but then I hit a roadblock. The advertiser lowered everyone's payout from $1.50 to 75 cents a lead. It happens with the new advertisers a lot. When they start, they're not familiar with their metrics yet to realize they're losing money. The good news is Neverblue gave me the exclusive on this offer. Since their budget was lowered, it was probably easier to work with one guy who had consistent traffic than have to balance caps among 10 plus affiliates. I was able to keep the campaign running strong despite the 50% payout drop. My cost per click started to drop once I was the only person able to run this offer. My guess is people were copying my angles and creatives, and that accelerated the audience's banner blindness. My costs got lower now because I didn't have to compete against my own creations. I learned 2 major lessons from my first campaign that have stuck with me till this day. A, don't be afraid of competition. I assumed that this campaign was too hard to compete since Nikki posted it on his blog for the affiliate marketing world to see. I didn't even want to launch it at first, yet I was able to dominate this niche. If a niche has a lot of competition, it's because there's money to be made. Don't be scared. Who wants to be number 1 in a $500 a day niche? The ceiling is too low to grow. The tougher the competition is, the more you can develop your skill set. If you want to be a better athlete, you have to compete against people better than you. I've been in some of the toughest niches and traffic sources in history. Success boils down to being consistent with your testing and always aiming to improve. He tests 3 angles, I test 10. He tests 5 different landing pages, I test 100 variations of it using multivariate testing. I am fortunate to be a hard worker in an industry full of lazy people. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another, right? I like that. I am fortunate to be a hard worker in an industry full of lazy people. B, the first mover advantage. I got an exclusive on this offer because I got in on it early and did volume. If you're one of the first in a new niche, offer, or traffic source, everything is much easier. There's less competition and your market is more effective because the audience hasn't seen your techniques before. If people are talking about how hot an offer is, then you're not getting in early enough. Kind of like with stocks. Be an initiator, not a follower. My cash flow finally caught up with my spending, and this freed up my time, energy, and cash to pursue more campaigns. Facebook campaigns. Facebook was a pain in the butt back then, still is, because there wasn't a power editor, bulk upload tools, or any API. Each campaign I launched had to be uploaded by hand. The worst feeling was spending half an hour uploading a few campaigns only to have all the ads disapproved. It meant I had to start all over again. Fortunately, I was able to make some campaigns work outside the gaming niche. Survey Cash. This was a lead generation offer on how to make money working from home. I discovered a neat trick to increase my click-through rates. I made a campaign group for each age. I called out their age in the title. For example, I had an age group for 21-year-olds only. The headline would be 21 and need cash. I learned a lot. I learned the power of segmenting your audience and creating ultra-targeted ads from them. This technique's not allowed on Facebook anymore, by the way. Images. This campaign was when I discovered a strategy to get high CTRs, aim for ads that are weird. A picture of just money isn't going to get an amazing CTR. Okay? Do you see the difference with these images? He's showing some images on this, you guys. Just images, you know, the difference between just a pile of money and a pile of money with like a weird stuff going on around it. Like a guy with these weird sunglasses holding money, or this lady jumping into a giant pile of money. So there's like almost like some contrasting things going on there in those images. I've always liked images that make you go, huh? And take a second look. The brain is biologically wired to notice irregularities in your environment. Create ads that stand out. Dating. On my personal Facebook page, I kept seeing dating ads. I figured if many people are running something, it must be making money. I decided to do something a little bit different and focus on the Australian demographic. The dating niche was extremely simple to make money in. I would direct link, sneak in some ads with cleavage, and then profit. Sneaking in the ads was the hard part, and I started discovering tricks to make the process easier. For the example, there were certain times of the day when my ads were 5 times more likely to be approved. I also did something called the sandwich method. Instead of submitting 3 naughty ads in a row, I would submit 50 plus clean images and sneak the naughty ads in the middle. I figured the reviewers would just hit approve, and after 20 plus images in a row of clean images, they would start lowering their guard a bit. Goals. At this point, I was averaging about $10,000 a month in profit, but I had no intentions of quitting my job anytime soon. I still had student loans and a car loan. I didn't really have any money in savings yet. All my cash was being reinvested into my campaigns. I felt very uncomfortable knowing that all my income was based on campaigns run on Facebook. I'd only been affiliate marketing for about 6 months, and I had no idea how long it was going to last. My plan was just to make as much money as possible from it while keeping my job. I liked the security and cushion my job provided, and I was still learning tons every day. The eventual goal was to start doing affiliate marketing full-time, but I figured that was years down the road. Affiliate Summit East, 2008. The first major conference was coming up, and I knew I had to go. I requested a week off from work. Instead of using my vacation time to head to the beach, I chose a network with a bunch of nerds. It was an investment into my future. At this point, I still didn't know anybody in the industry. Don't obsess over finding a mentor. If you're new because I reached this point without anyone. I read that weird, you guys. It's don't obsess over finding a mentor if you're new because I reached this point without anyone. How can you spot a newbie at a conference? They're the ones walking the floor, collecting free swag, and stopping at every single booth. I collected so many pins from that show that 5 years later, I still have a stash of them. The coolest part of the conference was affiliate managers taking me out. I was riding around in limousines and eating fancy steak dinners. I realized something at the conference. Most of the affiliate marketers I met were around the same age I was, and most of them were already working full-time and making less money. What exactly was holding me back? A few things popped into my head. If I can make 10K plus profit a month only working 4 hours a day, how much money could I make if I worked 12 plus hours a day? What's the worst case scenario if I quit my job? If all my campaigns died, I had 6 months of work experience and a degree from Georgia Tech. I was pretty sure I could find another job if I had to. When I came back from Boston, I knew I had to walk into work the next day and put in my 2 weeks notice. The longer I would have stayed at my job, the more comfortable I would have grown. Comfort is the enemy of growth. I love that, man. That sounds great. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Was I scared? Hell yeah. This was a life-changing decision. I asked my friends and family what they thought I should do, and they told me to keep the job for security. What is comfort compared to the life I wanted? I wanted a future without debt. No one telling me what to do, being able to travel whenever I wanted, and most of all, I wanted to control my own destiny. When you are young, you have to fail and make mistakes. When life shows you two paths, take the one that you'll regret the least. One day I'll be old and see myself in the mirror. What do I want to wonder? Do I want to wonder what if? Do I want to wonder what if? Looks like we've got a chapter 7 here, guys. Let's see what happens. I think we're getting close to the end here. Quitting my job. The day I came back from Affiliate Summit East, I was ready to quit my job. I was extremely nervous because I'd seen some coworkers quit before and it turned out ugly. I think that was because they were leaving for a competitor and, well, I was leaving to work for myself. Fortunately, the boss was understanding and I was able to leave the company in 2 weeks without any issues. If you're going to quit a job, do it properly and don't burn any bridges. You never know if you'll have to enter the 9-to-5 world again and you might have to get a reference. 2 weeks later, I was my own man. Adjusting to the new schedule. Felt weird to wake up on a Monday morning and not have to be anywhere, no classes and no work. I remember having friends in high school who were straight A students but failed in Georgia Tech. Why? They worked well in strict supervision and schedules, but they couldn't handle a life with too much freedom. When you're in college, no one forces you to go to class, and you can be in bed anytime you want. It can be hard to study for your final exam when your friends are telling you to go to a party or join them next door for a Super Smash Bros. All-nighter. This phenomenon is what happens to many new affiliates once they quit their job, and it's what happened to me. It was harder than I thought to adapt to having complete control over my decisions. My initial thoughts were, if I could make this much money working 5 hours a day, I can make way more money working 15 hours a day. It's not that easy. My motivation levels plummeted. The past year, my goal was to be my own boss, and now I finally achieved it. I had 5 figures a month coming in from doing nothing. It was hard for me to work when the next room had my TV with Netflix and Xbox 360 waiting for me. I didn't know anything about productivity back then. All I ever did was rely on motivation and willpower, but they weren't there when I needed them. Shit hits the fan. I woke up to an email from Neverblue telling me I had to pause the gaming campaign. The advertiser found the creatives I was running where I compared their game to an extremely popular FPS at the time. They were scared of getting sued, and if I wanted to keep running the campaign, I had to use in-game screenshots to get all my creatives approved. Creative approval and a 75-cent payout? There's no way I could have made that profitable. I did my best, but the CTRs were horrible. If before I was paying 3 cents to 8 cents a click, now they skyrocketed to 25 cents a CPC because I lost my best ads. My dating campaign in Australia was doing a few hundred a day in profits. A few days after Instant Action got axed, I received an email letting me know that now they only wanted female traffic in order to keep their men to women ratio balanced. Anyone in the dating industry who knows that the dating for women niche is extremely difficult. We can't entice women with boobs, and there's way more competition in general for this type of traffic. Campaign 2 died. I was running a few more campaigns at the time, and they all died for various reasons. Even the campaigns I ran outside of Facebook were gone. A month earlier, I was making $3,000 a month at work and $10,000 a month with affiliate marketing traffic. A few weeks later, I was down to zero. Depression. Losing $200 on a new campaign is not a big deal when you're bringing $500 a day, but the psychology completely flips when you have no money coming in. The losses hurt more. Instead of making data-driven decisions, you let your emotions take over. I was stopping campaigns before I had enough data. I was slowly losing confidence in my abilities to optimize a campaign. The losses started piling up over the next few weeks. 10 campaigns launched and over 5,000 in losses. I just stopped running campaigns. I was burnt out and didn't want to feel like a failure anymore. I started distracting myself to stop facing reality. My cousin and I started playing poker at shady places around the city. I played video games all day, and when things got too depressing, I just drank myself to sleep. I felt like shit every time someone congratulated me on my success because I felt like a fraud. I avoided seeing anyone and told them work's really busy. I just wanted to sleep all day and pretend this was all a bad dream. Welcome to affiliate marketing. One moment you're at the top of the world, and the next it can all be gone. It's hard to revisit some of these memories, but you need to know what it's really like. On Facebook, you're only going to see pictures of cars, vacations, and fancy dinners. It's a place for image crafting and showing only the best side of yourself. No one likes sharing their failures, despite it being a normal part of the business. Don't believe anyone who says this industry is easy. They're just trying to make money off of you. I love it, man. I love it. It's real. It's real. That's the real stuff. Spitting fire. October 2008. Some people think that you've made it once you quit your job, but the battle has just begun. Some people think that you've made it once you quit your job, but the battle's just begun. Now has experienced the harsher realities of the affiliate world. It kind of feels like the game of craps. Woo! The highs can make you feel like you're a king of the world, but the lows make you feel like, well, crap. The campaigns die. New regulations come in. Accounts get banned. Your ads and landing pages get stolen. You get kicked off offers. I was starting to learn the failure is part of this game. Being a great affiliate means to be able to adapt and come out on top, no matter what Murphy's Law throws at you. Unfortunately, I wasn't handling the failures very well, and I would have been on my way back to the corporate world soon if I didn't snap out of it. I was basically avoiding reality and distracting myself as much as I could. It was weeks of video games, poker, and drinking. It now seemed to me that being an affiliate marketer was from another lifetime. One night, I literally spent 10 hours straight playing poker at an underground place in Atlanta. I came home at 5 a.m. with $10 worth of winnings. I smelled like cigarettes from the venue, felt like shit, and looked like shit. I looked in the mirror and asked myself, what are you doing? I closed my eyes and thought about the past. It was only a year ago that I discovered affiliate marketing. I remember the excitement I had for this industry as a beginner, and I needed to channel that energy. I got out my notebook and wrote down the reasons why I had to succeed. I need to take care of my family and make money for my future family. I need to see the world. I need to be my own boss and be in control of my future. I need to prove to myself that I could really be good at something. I need to make this work so I can help others do the same one day. There's a big difference when you need something as opposed to want. Need meant I couldn't survive unless I met those requirements, and it meant I was willing to sacrifice whatever little energy I had left to keep going. Think and grow rich. The bounce back is largely mental. When you fail campaign after campaign, it can affect your confidence and your willpower to keep going. I had to step back and reevaluate how I approach things. If I did it before, I can do it again. I knew how to optimize campaigns. It was just a matter of my persistence. Even Jordan goes through periods of bad streaks. Maybe I was doing everything right and I was just having a bad luck. Back to zero. Something that intimidated me was that I was sure if I could do 3,000 profit days again, I told myself it didn't matter. My only goal now was to make $1 profit. With a much smaller goal, I felt a burden was lifted off my shoulders. This isn't actually a big reason why people fail. They've done $10,000 profit days and then their campaigns die. From then on, they want to do campaigns only that big, even if the times are different. They have too much pride to go back to $500 profit a day campaigns. I stopped all the bad habits. I started hanging out with people again, got rid of the video games, and stopped playing poker. If someone asked me how my business was, I told them I was having troubles and not doing very well. You know what happened? I got nothing but love. People would tell me their own stories of failure. Basically, this stopped being a burden I had to hide and be ashamed of. Do or die. I still had a healthy amount of cash in the bank, so I wasn't doing bad financially. I told myself that all that money would go towards my campaigns. I didn't care if I lost everything. The money was already gone in my mind. Know your worst case scenario. I knew I could always go back to a job and rebuild. It's not the end of the world. No matter what happened with affiliate marketing, as long as I was still handsome, life would be okay. The comeback kid. All right, no more messing around. Time for beast mode. I had my coffee ready and my playlist full of T.I. and Lil Wayne songs on repeat. I messaged all my affiliate managers for their advice on campaigns. By this point, I had enough experience to know which affiliate managers were bullshitting me and which ones were the real deal. I created a bunch of fake accounts on Facebook and did some spying to see what everyone else was running. Most campaigns failed. One hit hard, really hard. I thought the affiliate network was having a technical glitch because the numbers didn't make sense. $100 spent and $500 profit? I haven't even optimized this campaign yet. A few days later, that $500 turned into a $5,000 profit day. I went to AdTech, New York in November 2008. At this point, I mainly was running my ads on AdWords and Facebook, but I decided to test a bunch of display network media buys. A week after that conference, I hit my first $10,000 profit day. By January 2009, I made my first $1 million in profit. There it is, guys. That was a long story, but you got the whole thing. How Charles Ngo went from selling stuff on eBay, cameras. I think he started out with cameras, right? He went from selling cameras on eBay to making $1 million in advertising. Pretty cool, man. Kind of a long story, but it was neat. It was really cool, I gotta admit. One thing that really struck me on that story, the rise of Ngo, one thing that really struck me on that story, you guys, was his work ethic. I mean, Charles Ngo worked his ass off. I mean, he was making $10K a month, and he still didn't have the confidence to quit his job. He was putting tons and tons of hours into what he was doing. He worked really, really hard. He grinded like crazy, man. That's one thing that I take away from that story. Let me know if you sat through this whole story, you've listened to this whole story that I read. What are your takeaways? Let me know in the comment section. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comment section.
Kiss the good life, good.